Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Mike here. Well, today we're doing something new, at least new for my channel, and that is that we're going to look at a new software package for me called MOI3D. Now, MOI, or Moment of Inspiration 3D, has been around a while, and it is basically a CAD-like program, right? So if you want to create technical models, then you can use MOI. But also if you just want to use it for your props, right? Your 3D props. Now, the cool thing about MOI is that it's NURBS based. So you're working with NURBS, and you can either work with curves that will create your solids, or you can go directly with solids, right? So before I get into modeling stuff, I'm going to first show you the layout, okay? So if you're new to MOI, you kind of get a feel to it. And then in future videos, we're going to go in and model some cool technical things, right? Before we begin, I need to let you know that I am using shortcuts. They are my own shortcuts, and that's why I am able to use a lot of Maya techniques in this setup. If you want to do the same, I'll put a link below so you can download my .ini file, and I'll also describe how to set that up. It's very simple. You just take the .ini file that I provide, you move it to a certain location, and then when you start up MOI, you got all the same shortcuts. That's all there's to it, right? Okay, let's start with the windows here. So we have a top view, a perspective view or 3D view. We got a front view and a right view. It's kind of similar to what you would see in Maya or Blender, right? If you have my shortcuts loaded and you want to go to one of these, what you can do is just hover over it and hit the spacebar. And if you want to go back, you go down here to split. Now, if you don't have the shortcuts, you can use these three buttons down here, right? So split will give you all four windows. Click on 3D, we'll just have the perspective window. We got top, we got front, and we got the right view, and you can see that in the top left corner. Or you just go back to split and you have this setup, okay? Okay, what else? In the bottom left corner, we have basically your file management options, right? So you can go here to File, Open a file, Save as, New, Import, Export. There you go, yeah? And you can actually import files here, 3D files that you want to work on, so that's pretty neat. Right. Of course, how to save the file and so forth. We have the undo and the redo, but I use shortcuts for that, and you'll see that in future videos. And then delete. You can just select your object on screen and hit delete, but you can also do it down here. Now down here in this window, you see the coordinates of my mouse. As I move this around, you see the values changing, right? Now down here we have the letter D, that's basically dimension. So if I were to, let's say, create a rectangle, I would click on this. It says pick corner point, so click right here. And as I start to move this to the right, you'll see these values changing, right? Excuse me. So you see the dimension, you see the angle, okay? And then here you have the snapping settings. You can snap to grid, you can straight snap, so to the X and Y and so forth, and then object snap, right? Okay, so that's basically what's going on down here. We have some options here, which is important. Let's have a look at that. And we'll start at the top. Unit system. You can choose no unit system. You can go with metric. You can go with, centimeters, meters, kilometers, inches, whatever your preference is, right? The decimal display, and again, you can have 1 0 behind the point or multiple. Language, the UI size, kind of important depending on the size of your monitor, right? You can go very big. I leave mine at the default. I think it was 10. That's about right. Okay, now your scene browser position adjacent, right? You can change that. You can go and turn that to inside. I just leave that alone. Okay. Side pane position, it's on the right. I'm a Maya guy, so I'm going to set it to the left, so the whole menu thing will jump over. Template files, not using those, multiple selection always. So you can go in here and I'll show you. Let me close this. I can go in here after this has been created, and I can go in here and select multiple items. Now I only have one, but you don't have to hold shift. You just click, 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 and you will select multiple, right? Let's go back to our browser here. What else have we got? Shortcut keys. Now, like I said, this is my file. I got this file from another guy on YouTube, and I'll put a link below to his channel. Although I did change a number of things here, so it's not his file per se anymore. I added my own, right? Okay, so you got the view option here. You can change the colors of the UI if you like, the grid setup, what size and so forth. How do you want snapping to behave? You have your import and export here. For example, orientation. If you are a ZBrush guy, then you would probably want to have the Z up. If you're a Maya guy, you want the Y up and so forth. And all of this is pretty much self-explanatory, right? And then we have dimensions. You can play with all that. Okay. So we talked about this stuff, we talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about this, all right? We talked about the options. Down here is a browser button. Now that browser is basically what you would call outliner in Maya, right? So if you have objects in your scene, you would see those. Now right now it says no named objects. That's important because you have to name them. So if I were to select this guy, right? I see unnamed closed curve, right? And I just want to name that, right? So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to call this, I don't know, window, whatever, right? Windows. Okay. As soon as I do that, it will be added under objects. So like I said, this is basically what your outliner would be, right? Now the types, curves, styles, you can add a color to it. So this is black right now. There you go. It's kind of the layer function, if you will, right? So what I got as an object is a window. The type is a curve. The color is black. There you go. Alrighty. So what else do we got? Let's see. We're going to close the browser for now, and we're going to look at the meat of the software, right? Over here, we have the option draw curve or draw solid. Now, like I said, this is a NURB-based program, right? So you can create NURBS objects here, and the cool thing about it is that you don't have to mess around with polygons and polycount and all that kind of stuff, right? And once everything is said and done, you can export your model, the NURBS model that you made in MOI, and then, for example, import it into your program of choice to convert it into a polygonal object, right? Okay, so we have the options, draw curves or draw solids. I did a curve right here. I can go in here and, for example, draw a sphere. And every time you select something that you want to do, it says up here what you should do, right? Okay, so it says pick center point. So I'm going to go with my origin, click on it. And now the radius, I only have to pull my mouse and you'll see that it's starting to create that, okay? Circumference and radius. All right, what else? And there are many options to look at, but we'll get to that, okay? Now, here you have a number of things you can do, you know, trim, extend, copy, paste, that kind of stuff. Down here we have construct and we have transform. A lot of things you can do, right? But that is more for future videos. So yeah, this is a first look at MOI3D. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to make some very cool things with it as time comes. And yeah, that said, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.